chicken.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Mask. For those who might be watching Behind the Mask for the first time, what this is I speak with a speedrunner, learn more about them, and especially learn more about a game that the runner has ran blindfolded, with the goal of helping anyone learn more about blindfolded speedruns. I know many new to watching blindfolded speedruns may have doubts as to what they are watching, and I hope that these videos do not necessarily eliminate skepticism towards blindfolded speedruns, but give them more knowledge to better tell the difference between a fake or a real run. And my guest today, uh, he has done a live speedrun of Celeste at a marathon and has done a live run of the game online on a GDQ channel before. So would you like to
Yes,
introduce yourself?
yes. Helloing. I'm hello. I'm Malakbel. I'm just gonna I am basically a Celeste speedrunner. And back in 2024, I have started learning Celeste blindfolded. Besides just speedrunning the game with eyes. So from that point, I have also started to learn it without eyes, or maybe these eyes. I don't know what's up with these, but they're also eyes. And yeah, that's me. I'm a Malakbel. Hello.
And before I forget, since I did in my last video, and I apologize for a guide, but would you like to give yourself a shout out of where anyone can find your content for Celeste speedruns and anything else that you do?
Yeah. Yeah, if you can just search me up on Twitch or YouTube. Also Blue Sky. Not so much Twitter. Just search up my name, Malakbel, and we're chilling. I do Celeste stuff currently. Maybe like I'll branch out at some point for more indie games, but yeah, I do speedrun stuff.
And then outside of speedruns, do you have other hobbies that you do? Or outside of video games for that matter, any other hobbies you do?
Yeah, I do some piano stuff. But uh um yeah, mostly just gaming and some piano. I'm also active in church. I play in a church band. Do some piano stuff. Stuff like that, I suppose.
And hopefully I don't forget.
Yeah.
Later, in regards to the piano, I have a question, so I hope I don't forget that when we get to the blindfolded talk.
Mhm.
But just out of curiosity, where does your username come from, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, like at this point, I think it's called King of RPGs. It's a pretty good comic, and then I think I'm not even sure. Like I think it was one of the antagonists. Maybe it's not even an antagonist, but an ally of the protagonist. I don't know, but like a good friend of mine used to have like Mogrothka as a name, and I picked up Malakbel and I stuck with it. And my friend actually changed names, and I'm still Malakbel. So yeah.
Do you remember what got you into video games, like what your first video game was?
Yeah, I guess Nintendo games in general. Like we were like before we were also talking about Nintendo stuff. Yeah, like mostly Nintendo games. My first yeah, for at first like played on a PC. I remember my dad had a PC, and maybe like I don't know, play Prince of Persia or some Doom kind of game. And then eventually I got a GameCube. My first Pokemon game was actually Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, which
Oh
is a
wow,
very, very silly first Pokemon game because you would expect to have like a Game Boy game or something.
that's
So
the
yeah,
one on the
no,
GameCube, right?
yes. It's actually kind of a good game, but it's a very weird game to have as your first Pokemon
Yeah.
game, not gonna lie.
Is that the sequel to Colosseum, or am I mis?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I recently learned that there
Yeah.
was a sequel to that like a couple years ago. I'm like, I remember enjoying Colosseum, but I didn't know it ever came out with a sequel. But That is a
It is very
definitely
niche.
interesting first Pokemon game. I don't hear that often. It's not only a mainline series game.
It's also back when the villains in the Pokemon game were actually a little bit evil,
Hmm.
and it's also really weird because you have these shadow Pokemons that you need to snag
Hmm.
back from them. It's such a it's not it's how did they come up with that stuff? It's
Yeah,
pretty good actually.
yeah. Growing up
Actually, kind of underrated.
playing red,
It's
blue, silver, and then going to Coliseum, and it's like, hey, this girl sees this evil or not evil, this looming darkness around this Pokemon. You can snatch it from a trainer. I'm like, what? And then that's the only way to catch Pokemon. There's no like grass and wild Pokemon. At least not in Coliseum. I don't know about
uh
Gales of Darkness, but
Guild of Darkness. You can actually set up traps and then you come back later to the trap, and then you can actually catch wild Pokemon. It's very limited the amount of Pokemon you can catch through the trap system. Most of the Pokemons you catch are like the shadow Pokemon, and then you need to actually they also have shadow moves, but you need to cleanse them of the shadow or however it worked back then, and eventually
oh
they
yeah,
become more normal Pokemon.
yeah. I forgot you
But
had
the
to
game
cleanse
is
them.
like insanely difficult, so which is very different from most Pokemon games.
Yeah, I
Like it's
remember.
probably more difficult than even the older Pokemon games.
I think I struggled a lot with Coliseum as well, but I forgot about the cleansing thing. Sounds like they're very similar with maybe more content on Gales of Darkness, which I would hope for in a sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel. It's pretty much the same except like a little bit more story. And also the dude with the big afro, Mirror B, like he also comes back. It's pretty good.
uh, is Celeste your favorite game, or do you actually have a game that you enjoy more than Celeste?
Um, before Celeste. Oh my goodness, I don't want to get burned for this. Before Celeste, my favorite game used to be League of Legends.
Oh wow.
That's what I played so much. Um, I still think it's a good game, but the community kind of sucks, and also the company kind of sucks. But besides, yeah, I don't know. So it used to be League of Legends. At this point, it's Celeste. I'm enjoying speedrunning way more than esports. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
But yeah, personally, I enjoy the speedrunning part
Hmm.
way more than esports because esports in itself is it's very much money driven.
Yeah.
It's also very much a way to just spread the word of the game. But in the end, it is very money driven. Players get salaries. The tournaments get money through sponsors. Speedrunning is mostly about just a passion for the game. So because fundamentally it has a different goal, you know. I think it's a lot more of a healthy scene in general compared to esports. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but it is better.
No, I
It's
agree.
also a lot smaller. Also has advantages.
What I find appealing with speedruns is it's a competition against myself to improve. You can have the competition against other people and their times. You're improving at a game that you most likely like, and that's why you're speedrunning it, and then you're learning more. Then there's the community behind it. Some communities are toxic, but many communities I've seen are very supportive of one another, of like, congrats, and you did well, and that was crazy to see. Or even like some people who are like 40th place, they went from 100th place to 40th place, and people be like, you're improving fast, that's awesome. And then you'll have the competitive top players, but they'll still support other top players if they get topped by them. Like what I said earlier before starting the recording, of watching the Celeste history speedrun for the
Yeah.
sided runs. You'll have TGH and someone else going back and forth, but each other congratulating each other, even if it meant that they lost their world record, and then they just go right back and get the world record
True.
back. So I see it as both a self competition, self improvement, as well as competition with other people, however far you want to take it, and a community versus esports, which is either you versus the world or you and a team versus the world. And a lot going
Yeah,
in that.
it's different. It's different. It just it has a lot more clashing, a lot more competition first. There's so many strange stories of big teams doing weird things. I just don't like it.
I've
It
never.
frustrates me personally because I really love I used to love League of Legends, and then you just see it going
Mhm.
downhill like that. Really, yeah. I don't
I've
know, man.
I've never actually played it, but it's such a big game that I'm more than well aware of its existence. And then you get things like TFT, Arcane, 2XKO all coming
Oh yeah,
out.
yeah.
My wife and I have
Some of
seen
that stuff
Arcane.
is really cool though. Some of
Arcane.
the stuff is really cool. Yeah, Arcane actually really good. I still need to watch season 2 though, but season 1 was actually kind of goated.
I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as everyone else, but I was like, this is pretty good, especially for a game
That's just
company
good.
making a TV show with really good music and good animations.
True.
Uh, and I went in not knowing any of the characters except Jinx because of death battles. So I didn't actually know any of the characters, but League is so big that I was aware of existence without ever playing it. And
Mm.
I even know what a yordle is
Yeah.
before I even did anything with League. Like,
Yeah. It's just in the end, regardless of whether you like League of Legends or not, I also think there's too many memes about the game for it being bad because I mean, there is a reason why so many people play it, but in the end, the game also pisses me off. So
all
I don't know what to make of it.
right.
But yeah, it used to be my favorite game. I've played it for like 10 years. I've even done coaching in it. I've done like amateur esports on a not that high of a level. I used to be like diamond. Um, uh, yeah, I was pretty decent at least at the game.
Do you remember
But
what?
I
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
hmm?
on.
I am enjoying Celeste way more. Like the community aspect of it, the way you improve at the game, um, that despite it being solo, you still do it together as a
Hmm.
community. It's pretty cool.
Do you remember what got you into speedrunning? Like what your first game was, or what you probably watched to then get you into started, or did you just pick up a game, see how fast you could do it, and then later learned, oh, other people are doing this too?
Um, Not entirely sure what kickstarted it for me. Um, it was something along the lines actually. Like we also talked a little bit about TGH. Yeah, like I think I saw like a GDQ run and TGH like ran the game and just made it look really good. You know, the speedrunner makes the game really good, and you start believing like this looks so good. I want to do the same thing. You know, and start learning the game. Watch like the runs of like really good runners. Try to copy their movements. I was actually very slowly learning the game because I did start learning the game like 2018, 2019. Um and then but I really started to like dive into it and really start pushing for like the one of the big milestones, sub 30 minutes
Oh,
using
wow.
ice back in 2021. So like back then I was still playing League of Legends actively, and on the side I was also doing Celeste basically. And then at some point I really started to like shift gears, and I really went all in on Celeste instead, and that was the better choice for sure.
Have you done other stuff besides Celeste, or is it just mostly focused on Celeste for visuals and
You mean
blindfolded?
you mean for speedrunning?
Yes.
Yeah, for speedrunning I've done a tiny bit of Pizza Tower because I wanted to try something else, but I basically learned like the whole game. I learned like the strats. I did like 3 runs, and then I had like two runs that were not verifiable. And then on my third run, I don't know what happened, but I decided to go back to Celeste again. Like, because Pizza Tower as a speedrun is genuinely really good. It's also really hard. It might be harder than Celeste, mostly because of the sheer length and also the game being quite punishing in that regard. But it is actually kind of similar to Celeste in a sense. Like they're both very fast. But in the end, I didn't play Pizza Tower that much. I've also done Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time with my friends. Even also ran that at marathons like Archithon. Archithon is organized by the Celeste community, and then we raise money for charity. It's all online by Celeste runners for Celeste runners in a sense, but the Celeste runners are not actually playing Celeste.
Yeah,
um,
that's cool though.
yeah, Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, very very good couch co-op game, very fun.
So, at what point while doing visual speedruns of Celeste did you decide to start doing it blindfolded? Did you see someone else do it first, or did you see another game being played blindfolded and you thought, let's try Celeste blindfolded?
Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out like what made me drive to it because I kinda don't understand. Back in so at the end of 2023, like December, I put down my 28 minute 43 28 minute 43 seconds time. That's still my personal best when sighted, when running visually. um and then in 2024 I started to like look at I think some random thought bubbled up inside of my head. I was like, how does the blindfolded Celeste actually work? Started looking it up, started actually like learning, running, streaming. And then from there it just snowballed or something. But it took a really really long time for me to actually put together a full game run, because the individual chapters are not too bad, but trying to put everything together, and also the closer I'm currently, I only run the any percent category. I don't know if you kind of know the different categories there in Celeste.
I know any percent, and I know it's changed throughout the years where they started doing more. I think it's like
At the B
B
sides.
sides for cassettes. But as for any extra categories other than collect all berries, I'm not too familiar with the extra categories Celeste
No,
has.
the other categories, they exist. They're also not as big as the classic any percent
Mm.
run the game until you finish the credits. Um, where did I want to go again? Um, if you run the any percent category, all the other categories are definitely like really hard, way harder. But even the any percent category, there are 7 different chapters, and then the final 2 chapters, chapter 6 and 7. So basically, the late game of the category are really difficult, and yeah, it's very likely that part of my learning experience, like maybe half of the time I used for chapter 6 and 7, and those chapters pissed me off. They're really hard to learn. I think something else that is really difficult about Blindfolded Celeste, because I come from a speedrunning background, and so I'm used to just push the game, go for fast times, just try to go as fast as possible. But in Blindfolded, it's very different, because your first priority in Blindfolded is not going fast, it's being consistent about what you do and not dying when it comes to Celeste. And the other thing I've noticed in Blindfolded is that you really want to like feel in control. If you don't feel like you're in control, you're just gonna lose your mind.
Mm-hmm. Especially if there's
That's
a hard
something
moment where you could get it first try or be stuck there for 20 attempts and you're like, am I going to even get through this?
you start death looping very easily in
Mm-hmm.
Celeste. It's insane. Yeah.
So on a difficulty scale, 0 being the easiest, 5 being incredibly hard, where would you put Celeste on that scale?
The problem for me is like, at least right now, I maybe at some point I will learn other games for blindfolded, but even in normal speedrunning, I haven't learned that many. So it's really hard for me to actually put a number on it. Like, let's say, like, because the thing is, if you pick up a game for blindfolded, not all games are equal. Some of them
Mhm.
are easier, some of them are harder. And while the game Celeste lends particularly good for blindfolded, at the same time, because it lends so well to it, like, for example, dying in the game, the game loop just feels very smooth.
Mhm.
You get put back into the action very fast. Also, if you die, you can press confirm, and that speeds up the death animation. So, like, that can actually save you like maybe a full second or something of animation per death. I don't remember how long. Please don't quote me on that. But um, the thing is that the game loop feels very fast. The developers know the game feels good, and so they have more leeway to make the game more difficult,
Mhm.
which comes back to bite us blindfolded runners because the game is really difficult.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe four
Yeah.
out of five. I really don't know. It's really hard to put a number on it.
Yeah. As we were discussing earlier, chapter 1 and chapter 2 looks. I'd say it could be a good introductory for blindfolded speedruns for 2D platformers. But then as soon as you hit chapter 3, I'm like, now it's just for Celeste players. It feels like, and part of that's because of the I think they're called dust bunnies, how they just
Oh
move
yeah,
back and
yeah. The
forth.
chapter 3 difficulty spike.
There's no
Yeah.
audio cue for them, but yeah, I could be wrong on this, but it looks like their cycle resets every time you die or hit retry in that room.
Yes, yes. The way it works is, if you enter the room, you have your entry cycle, and if you die in the room, you have your death cycle. So every room where there are obstacles that spin in the room or whatever they move, that means that room has two different cycles. Even if the obstacles are not there, there are still two different cycles in general, that you need to learn. You can actually, like, you can, for example, if you want to only do the entry cycle, you can re-enter the room. That takes like a full second, half a
Mm-hmm.
second entering, then half a second re-entering again. Um, but yeah, two different cycles basically per room. Um, it's tricky.
What version of Celeste do you do? Is it PC or a console version?
PC. Also, there are runners, there are speedrunners. Not probably not. No, wait. Civil actually does it on Switch, but the console versions are practically the same as the PC version. You just don't have the speedrun tool
Mm-hmm.
for save states and practicing.
And
That's the biggest difference.
do you play on a keyboard or do you have a controller that you use for Celeste?
That's a very good question. Do you know this controller?
It makes me think of a an arcade fight stick, just without the
Yes,
analog stick.
without the analog stick. That's why it's called the leverless controller. I think in Europe this is not that big of a controller. I think in America it's more familiar, but even then, a lot of people don't know this controller
Mm-hmm.
exists. It's also not necessarily something I would recommend, but it does lend itself pretty well to Celeste, I would say.
And you're able
Um,
to like bind controls, like set up the controls that you want in Celeste, correct? Like have a button do. Is it just one input, or can you like assign multiple inputs on a button?
yeah, you can have multi binds. The like the thing, the one of the big reasons why Celeste is such a big game when it comes to speedrunning is because the developers really like they have put a lot of quality of life inside of the game. And one of those things is that you can even multi-bind a control. So you can for example you can put on a button on a button you can put not just jump, you can also put climb on the same button. So suddenly you have a single button that does both climb and jump. And so you don't have to hold the grab button anymore to do like a climb jump. And there's a lot more multi-bind little tricks that runners have figured out that you can do.
That sounds very useful.
It's
uh,
really nice.
are
That's
there?
something that doesn't happen in Nintendo games.
No, no.
In general.
Um, would you say Celeste has a fair amount of audio cues, or are there still moments you wish there might be an extra audio cue here and there to help with blindfolded speedruns?
So for example, if you transition between rooms, there is no audio cue.
Mm-hmm.
But you can actively anticipate that you're going to transition between rooms. And then some of these rooms, like the wind noise increases, or some other sound happens, another noise, or usually you. Also, I think like something in the music softly goes down, or like the overall noise. There's something small that you can listen for, that you can still know I am transitioning between rooms, but there is no room transitioning
Mm-hmm.
noise. That's one of the noises that lacks. But most of the things that you do in Celeste actually do have like an audio cue or a specific noise for that thing. Like a jump noise or a dash noise or grabbing a wall. Um, Dust bunnies don't have noises. Spinners in chapter 5 do have noises when they spin. Most of the things have noises. Feathers, clouds.
And in one of your runs that you did, I didn't even know a certain spot had a noise, but you were on a wall and you were slowly going down that wall until you heard Madeline touching grass, and I guess the grass also makes a noise when she's sliding up and down it.
Do you mean like in chapter 6 with the feathers?
I
I
believe
think
so.
probably.
I believe so.
In chapter 6 in chapter 6 that is a very specific use case. But the wall, that specific wall, there's like a part of the wall that has like just normal stone
Mm-hmm.
noises, and then the other part has a grassy noise. And then it was probably Crystal Saver that found it out, and then Piper is also using it, and also Rainwing and then me. Um, yeah, like trying very specifically to find the grass noise, and then from that point, like using that to know your actual position on the wall. It's such a funny strategy. Yeah.
I think that's nice that they added that though. Like, what runner guy and I talked about with Ocarina, how even just something as simple as um, attacking a wall and it makes one noise, but then when you turn and hit this wall, it might be a different noise, and that lets you know more information. I think when games just add little details like that, unintentionally they help blindfolded speedruns.
Yeah, it's really cool. I still feel like a noob when it comes to the blindfolded scene because I only know my own game, Celeste.
Yeah.
And then every other game is kind of like, oh, maybe I'm watching a Bubsya stream, and then I'm actually kind of learning more about that game
Mhm.
through a blindfold lens. But yeah. But
Something we brought up earlier before the recording was the fact that Celeste, despite it being, or I don't want to say despite it, even though it is an indie game, which typically doesn't get as popular as mainstream games, when it comes to the speedrunning scene on both speedrun.com, when sorting by most ran games and even
oh yeah.
blindfoldedgaming.com, it's the third most ran on both sites, despite it being a relatively difficult 2D
But
platformer.
what is the second most ranked game then? Like the first one has to be SM64. I think Celeste is the second one
I believe
for
A
Blindfold.
Link to the Past has second place on Blindfolded Gaming.
Really?
I believe
Dang.
so.
That's I did not expect that. I thought Celeste was definitely bigger.
No.
I still think it's bigger. I don't know.
I
I'll look
can.
it up later. Yeah, like Celeste is um especially within the speedrunning scene, it's huge. It's really big. And actually I also think it's surprising that the modding scene in Celeste is actually bigger than the speedrunning scene.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Um yeah, just so you know, the modding scene is actually really big. Um I sh- it would be good if I play more mods. Not gonna lie. Um, yeah, and then also the blindfold scene is also surprisingly big. Um, we do have like a lot of people that have tried runs or have actually done runs and put them on the internet. When it comes to especially the first two chapters, chapter 1 and 2, they're the most approachable too. And then when you get to chapter 3, you just hit this big
Mm-hmm.
iron wall right in your face. That's yeah. If anyone like wants to learn like Celeste blindfolded, if you continue beyond chapter 2, skip chapter 3. Thanks. Like you can come back to it later. Chapter 4 and 5 are nice, and then chapter 3 because of those dust bunnies and
Mm-hmm.
because of the cycles. Yeah.
Uh, I could be wrong. I checked it this morning. I think chapter 1 and 2 doesn't have a lot of submissions on the site, so maybe the game should be second place. It's just missing run submissions.
Yeah, like we also for the Celeste blindfold community, I will show you send you the Google sheet that we've set up. But we have a lot on there
Oh, okay.
on the chapters, everything, B sides, C sides, farewell, everything.
So it should probably be
Even
second
like
place.
yeah, and also the other thing is like when it comes to Celeste, there are two big like after so finishing the game as a whole might take you like 30 hours, 50 hours, 80 hours. I don't know. It depends on like how much platform experience you have and how fast you're trying to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, after that point, people that want to like keep playing the game, they're either going modding, and there's like a really big modding scene, so there's a lot of levels that you can play, or they're going for the goldens, and golden berries, slight spoiler, means grabbing a golden berry at the start of the level, and then you carry that berry all the way till the end of the level so you can collect it. But if you die even once during the run, you lose that golden berry.
Jeez.
So it's a deathless challenge. The developers put it into the game more like, oh, that's funny, haha. And then maybe some people might try to like actually do like the really hard chapters deathless. But no, there's a whole community that spawned around doing things deathless in Celeste. It's crazy. And then you also have speedrunners. And the speedrunning scene is actually probably surprisingly smaller, I think. No, is it smaller? It's smaller than the modding scene, but the speedrunning scene is also really big. For sure, for sure.
I think I saw in the Discord someone talking about doing a competition of who can get the farthest in Celeste
Oh
without
yeah, yeah,
dying.
yeah, yeah.
That sounds like an interesting challenge.
That's a challenge that Civil proposed. I do think it's very interesting to try and push uh to get as far as you can into the game and then have a leaderboard for
Mm-hmm.
like who got the furthest in the game
I think that sounds very
while
interesting.
blindfolded
I definitely want to like
and
follow
not
that
dying.
once that starts. Like as soon as
It
someone
could be
does,
super interesting.
as soon as someone does chapter 1, 2, and 3 deathless blindfolded, that's I think they'll have the top spot for a while.
Even that, yes. I heard so Crystal Saver, one of the goats and one of the OGs when it comes to Celeste Blindfolded, but even Blindfolded in
Yeah,
general.
Blindfolded in general.
Crystal Saver grinded for months on getting Chapter 3 deathless while blindfolded.
Jeez.
I don't know how many months. I just know months. Like, let's assume at least 3.
No.
Around 3-ish.
Crystal Saver, and you see like 10 games where he's done 15 plus hours. I'm like, I don't have the free time to do anything, and here he is just busting out 15-hour blindfolded runs and beating games. I'm like, that's incredible stamina.
I don't even know how you're going to do a 3-hour plus run. But then again, my speedrun and blindfold experience is doing Celeste.
Mhm.
And Celeste is super input heavy. And even when you do it like blindfolded, you need to think so hard. Like, it eats your brain.
So hard,
You
so
actually
fast.
Yeah, so like I know people like speedrun RPGs, for example. And RPG runs, it wouldn't be weird to run 5 hours or 10 hours. But still it and then you have like oh dude, you know about the true ending Blindfolded in Silk Song?
I do not know. I do not.
That's like I think Brisk took like 18 hours.
Jeez.
That is not okay.
No.
My guy was ready to quit right then and there with Blindfolded after doing that.
And
I'm not surprised.
Like, and I don't want to take away from Bubsy either. Crystal Saver, I feel like, just shows he could just play blindfolded games that long, whereas Bubsy, most of his stuff is mostly smaller, but he's done long runs too. Like his Kingdom Hearts 1 run was about 8 hours, Kingdom Hearts 2, 6, and Mario 64, 120 stars. The completed run was 12 hours. He did attempts before that also lasted many, many hours. And again, I'm just like, I'm lucky if I can stream for an hour some days. And then when I do get to play games, most of my game sessions aren't longer than 2 hours. So it's amazing that someone's playing games that long, that blindfolded, and with the rules of, well, probably some leeway, but if you want to be on the leaderboard, so the rules of don't go off the camera and don't take off your blindfold. So that means you're also not getting a new snack, you're not using restroom breaks, and there's just a lot of focus for that long.
Usually, when you look at normal speedrunning, the one where you use eyes, visual speedruns or sighted, the community does create like rules for like, hey, you can take breaks. It's actually like recommended you take breaks. But when it comes to blindfolded runs, it's a little bit more iffy because, like Crystal Saver was going to do breaks, and then he would even record the parts where he's like going to the bathroom just to show people like, hey, I'm still blindfolded. Don't worry.
Yeah. I thought about that would be a valid I thought about that being like a valid compromise to that, but I'm like, I don't want to carry a camera to the restroom.
No, me neither. I haven't looked into that. I just remember like reading that on Discord. I was like, that is so funny. I have to remember that. That's too good. It has to be like inside the VODs. Yeah, like one of the biggest runs that Crystal Saver that was like was it Lufia? Like one of those RPG games. It has to like include like the parts in between, and I remember Saver was also asking some technical questions, but it's just that stuff exists, you know. It's so good.
And then
it also deserves more of a spotlight because so many people just don't know it exists even within the blindfold community. So
yeah, so give him a big shout out as well, I guess, because he definitely does a lot with the blindfolded community, and also, like you said, done stuff with Celeste as well, so it's relevant with the topic.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think.
On the topic of like that, like we have so many runners. Like
Mhm.
for example, like I do feel like talking about it for a little bit. Like um for example, Piper has like the fastest Celeste blindfolded run, which is 49.5 minutes, which is insanely fast. Like
Mhm.
I still can't imagine it. Like, okay, I'm starting to like get it at this point a little bit. Uh, it's really freaking hard to do that. Um, Crystal Saver is one of the OGs. Katoon was like the first one that ran the whole game.
Oh,
Also,
I didn't know that.
so tiny spoiler, there is a big DLC chapter that got released like maybe 1.5 year after the Celeste game. That chapter is really hard. It's really hard. I remember TGH, one of the goats in Celeste speedrunning, really struggling with it. Like it maybe took like 5-6 hours to complete, you know? So
Jeez.
and then so just imagine. And then Rain Wing has labbed out and done all the different segments of that chapter. And like the ending of the DLC chapter is really hard. It's like a room that when you're sighted, it takes like 2-3 minutes to complete, and you want to not die because then you get reset
Mhm.
to the start of the room. She did that part. She even did like a bonus thing that's even harder in that same chapter. I don't get it. So yeah, Rain Wing, very good. Brisk has also done insane stuff like full clears. We have a great community of great runners. We have a lot of them.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
a lot of blindfolded speedruns for Celeste, a lot of blindfolded runners just for multiple games, and then
Yes.
you'll still have some who are who just like just stick to one game and just push it. Like I think you were saying that you just mostly hovered around Celeste, but you've been like pushing it, and I believe you have the second fastest time on any percent blindfolded.
Yes, currently. Yeah. I have a 1 hour 60 minute something. It's like
Something.
1-ish minute faster than Crystal Saver, at least right now. Yeah.
And you've also, like I mentioned at the start, done marathon events. You went to a BSG
Yes.
Live, which I might pronounce this wrong, Benelux Speedrunner Gathering,
Yes. It's Benelux Speedrunner Gathering. Yeah.
which takes place in Netherlands, which I believe that's also where you live, correct?
Yes. It's in the Netherlands. If you have never been to BC, like, um, I do recommend it. Like, it's pretty good. It's really fun. Whether you're attending or you're running or you're volunteering, it's pretty good.
And
But yeah, I've ran at BC. I've also done like the Shine in the Dark, the community
mhm.
event that was hosted on Bubsy's channel, and like Civil, freaking my man, on making sure the whole event runs smoothly. Um, and I've also ran at like the GDQ hotfix. That was also really cool. Yeah.
which uh the Games Done Blindfolded, the hotfix, which was an event that hosted online. You got to do your Celeste run, which that was a great run, and then Crystal
Mm,
Saver got to do his run of Hollow, or I'm sorry, Silk Song Act 3. So if people want more
yeah.
of his stuff, there's even a GDQ run of that. But
Yeah.
I
The faults are actually really good.
I think
Hmm.
it's interesting how different your online run was on Games on Blindfolded than it was on BSG, because on because of GDQ's rules, you were forced to not hear your commentators, which
Oh, true.
most blindfolded runners don't want
Yes.
that anyways. Like for me, I'm like, I don't feel confident enough to play NWC blindfold or Nintendo World Championships blindfolded while also listening to commentators. So I was fine with the rule. Uh, but your BSG rule run, you were like, I'm gonna talk with my commentator while playing blindfolded of this very difficult 2D platformer. So I found that was very different but unique for a blindfolded speed run in general, let alone for a marathon run.
It was really fun. And also like so a lot of so the BSG run in the Netherlands, at venue. So I was doing it in person, not online. Um, so a lot of people the run was being done during dinner time. So a lot of people went out, get dinner, maybe go out with their friends or at the event. So a lot of the people um or maybe they were like inside of the lobby looking at it from the outside, and then the live stream is being projected
Mm-hmm.
outside, so you can't even hear the audio, you can only see the game. And they're like, holy happening. Sorry for the but yeah, like people didn't know basically that I was just chilling and vibing and talking to Marky, my commentator and friend. Um like so they maybe they have Twitch muted while like eating at the bar, or they have like looking at the projector, and maybe they're like a little like if because while we're running, the headset on me is not like soundproof or anything, so if there's a lot of noise, I will be able to like hear that. But meanwhile, I was just vibing with Marky and just doing the run. Like, the vibe was completely different at the BC run. Also, like for the BC run specifically, I remember that so I had like my new PC right here in the back, and I was practicing the game for like 2 weeks before the event, and I messed something up in the audio. So I was playing the game with audio latency. I didn't notice. So I was trying to do my strats. Also, like during that time, I was doing a lot of Pico, and Pico is a completely different game. Pico 8. It's like an Easter egg instead of the Celeste game. I was also practicing that. Point is, I didn't notice I had audio latency, so I get to the BSG event in person, and I plug in my Steam Deck. I check I put in my headset, and I notice, oh, I press a button, and the moment I press the button, I can hear it. That's weird. So I was grinding for hours before that run. I was scared to not make my estimate, and then I blast the estimate out of the water.
Yeah, you
It
got
was a little yeah.
an hour 26, and I'm guessing I didn't see the estimate, but I'm guessing it's probably similar to games on Blindfolded of an hour 40.
The games, the GDQ run was like a 135.
Oh, okay.
So the GDQ run, I was also like, oof. I was struggling. I was struggling so much just to get through it. I remember. So the final part before 3,000 meters, you need to get to the Babylon orb, and I was stuck in that one room for multiple minutes. I went crazy, but still pulled through. Yeah.
I find it interesting the run where you're talking commentary and talking to a commentator. It seemed like you were playing a little more accurate than when you had no distraction for games done blindfolded. But it seems like one of those games where your strategies, if they work, great. If not, then you just gotta keep trying until it works. And so
Celeste
it's
Blindfolded
random
is
where you're
very
gonna lose time.
punishing. Yeah. No, it is very punishing. It's very difficult. Every single time that you want or maybe need to complete that run is a challenge, 100%. And before the GDQ run, so I actually had like a streak going of marathon runs when I had also completed the full game. So first I had the Shine in the Dark run. Then not too long after, I also had the BSG run. And then again, not too long after, I had the GDQ run. So basically, I had to be I was basically inside a blindfold tunnel going for like multiple weeks, months. And at the GDQ hotfix, events, like again, I was like hitting that barrier of like I want to practice more, but I cannot make myself practice more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like if I had more practice, I probably would have done better at the GDQ hotfix, but in the end, it was still like a really good run, regardless.
I enjoyed it. I thought the
But
commentary with Marky and Satan herself was very good. They were making jokes and
yes,
they were going
yeah,
off
they
of
both
what
did great.
because they could hear you, so they were going off of what you were saying, but you couldn't hear them,
Yes.
and it's still enjoy. And I don't know how much it's reliable, but I was just curious. Just I was looking at Twitch stats from multiple sites just to see one to see if my run had any interest because I know my game's very niche, but just to see how everyone else did. And according to multiple sites that I went on, the Celeste run had the highest peak view of the entire event, with Silksong just barely being under it, as well as the Celeste
Mm,
run had a ton of chat uh, engagement. Like people were talking constantly throughout your
it
run,
was really cool.
which I think was very good and helped the enjoyment of the run as well from a viewer perspective. Just seeing everyone talking, the commentators was great. The run was just enjoyable run. So overall, I
The
felt.
vibe,
Mhm.
the vibes were really good during that run. Yeah.
So even if it was
Like the
probably not, I don't know what time you feel happy with getting or not, but I still felt, what was it, hour, what was your final time? Hour 38?
35, 36. Like I
35.
actually saw that at the end. So the estimate was originally 130,
Mm-hmm.
1 hour 30 minutes. And then sneakily, somewhere towards the end, they changed the estimate to 135. So it's still very, very close on
Mm-hmm.
that estimate. That was nice.
Still crazy to
uh,
see. Even now, I've seen, because of this video, I've watched multiple runs of this game blindfolded. And I'm like, every time I watch it, I'm just like, how is this so doable? There's like I don't know how many rooms. It feels like more than 300 rooms that
yeah,
you gotta do rapidly,
it
one
is more
after
than
another,
300.
one after the other, after the other, after the other. Some rooms uh, it seems easier to do because it's like you just hold upright, then downright, then upright, and
Mm.
others like with the feather, you have to do a whole movement in a long horizontal room where you got to do multiple feathers.
Feathers. Yeah, feathers actually turns the game from 2D to 3D,
Hmm.
kind of. It's unfair.
To where you actually have to pause buffer.
Yes, yes, yes. There is actually that one room where I think Crystal Saver found the strategy where you pause buffer 3 times and then you get 3 frames of holding down right direction specifically that always lands you at a safe platform, and then you can just jump dash up and get to Badland. Like that strategy is also really, it's just, yeah. And like every single time when you go through a new room, twist shit is like, but what is happening? It's just, it was great. Yeah. I
and then
really enjoyed watching it back also. Yeah.
with any blindfolded run, it's always nice when something doesn't go exactly your way, but you still have like a backup strategy for it.
Hmm.
And especially there are moments you're like, I don't know if I went through that door, but then you keep holding right, and then you hear Madeline die in the next room. You're like, oh, yep, I went through the door.
Yeah, that's another thing is kind of like in blindfolded to a certain extent. You kind of have to assume that everything went according to plan, but only later on you will notice if it actually did happen. So, like like sometimes I can immediately like notice it went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and then or it might have went wrong, which is also annoying because then you might still have to go off the assumption that
Mm-hmm.
it went right just to like hopefully make it through anyway. Like that's such a weird thing about blindfolded. Yeah.
I think the worst feeling is you think it went wrong, then you go back to the VOD and you were actually in the correct
Mm.
spot, but then you restart it anyway.
Yes, 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 yes. That's super relatable. Blindfolded is weird.
But
I keep making like the little joke. I'm like Schrodinger's
mhm,
detective
mhm,
because it's like I don't know. Chat knows what's happening, but I don't.
mhm.
it's it's so funny. Yeah.
I think the only positive things that can come out of those types of mistakes is, hey, maybe he is actually playing blindfolded because why would he just restart at the door? But
Yeah.
do you, and this is the piano question I thought of earlier when you were talking about it. Do you ever use any of your, I'm trying to think of the wording, skills, I guess, with playing piano to help you with beat counting or keeping up with the rhythm of Celeste? Or do you think you could still do all of it just as well without any history of playing with the piano or instruments in general?
I do think I do think my history as a musician and yeah, I'm still very actively like doing music stuff, especially in church. Not so much in my free time, unfortunately, on the piano. But yeah, I don't think having musician background is anywhere required when it comes to blindfold, but it does help with the beat counts. Yeah, when you because some of the rooms in Celeste specifically, there are not enough audio cues to go off from like
Hmm.
where exactly you are in the room, especially when it comes to the moving blocks that can go up and down or and that you control. And in order to like make up for that, to know like what the timing is for doing whatever you're doing, you create those beat counts based off the music. You count how fast the music goes, and then you just do the inputs at the correct times. Yeah, like the music background helps a lot with doing those things. Yeah.
And I think I've seen others in the community talk about their history of playing with instruments, and I believe the Super Mario Brothers 1 speedrunner, people said that he has a history of music, and then you watch his SMB1 run, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I think it's like 10 or 15 seconds slower than a sided run, but he's playing it so
Mm.
fast. There are moments I'm like, I don't even know what the beat count is here, and he's just just going through it, and I'm like, if I did this blindfolded, best I could hope for is half an hour, and he's doing it in 5 minutes, just as well as a sighted runner. But I was curious from your perspective, having music history, if you thought it had any benefits, if it's needed or not really needed, but has its advantages, or if, say, someone like me who has no music history could still just do as well. It just might be slower or harder to learn, keeping up
I
with beat
mean,
counts.
it's like for example, if you get into Celeste blindfolded, it helps being familiar to the game Celeste. I don't think that is as necessary to an extent, unless you really push the game,
Hmm.
unless you really start pushing the game hard on either the speed running or the deathless part. Um, like it's an advantage for
Hmm.
sure to have a music background, but it's not necessary, because anything you don't have in skills you can just make up for it, or like because even in blindfolded you're kind of like learning how to make up for the lack of sight.
Hmm.
So you just try to find a way through it anyway. It's not required.
Alrighty. I would like to like go step by step through the game, starting with
Yeah.
the epilogue or the prologue. I don't know what the official name of it is. Is there any
The prologue.
is there any difficulty to it, or do you, is that
Prologue
just
is free. Prologue is free. Like there's nothing to it.
and
Basically what you do there is you hold grab, you hold upright, and then you just start walking and climbing. And then at some point Madeline stops, and then you just do your thing, you jump away from the wall and back. You do that like 4 times. You talk to Granny, and then you get to the crumbling bridge that everyone that played Celeste should know.
mhm.
and I guess it's a good assumption that most people that watch this will know. But the crumbling bridge, you get there, and then either you listen to the footsteps of Madeline, or you make a beat count off the music, and like that's it. And even if you don't do that, as long as you can just gamble and guess when you need to jump, then you also win. So
Mhm. And
yeah.
then Forsaken City for chapter 1. The thing that looks the hardest to me, I don't know if it's the hardest part, is timing your, I guess, jumps with the blocks that move so you can get the momentum boost from it. Would those be the hardest part of
Uh,
that, or do you find something more challenging for chapter 1?
Chapter one, there is this one room where there are. Oh wait, how many blocks? One, two. I think two blocks that move up, and that squash you
Mm-hmm.
against the ceiling. And that one particular room is very annoying. And also like the final two rooms in the chapter are a little annoying. But in general, relative to the remaining part of the game, it's not too bad. It's really like it's actually kind of easy compared to everything that comes after.
And then chapter 2,
Doesn't mean it's
oh,
easy.
yeah, yeah. I think the keeping up with the momentum and being in the right spots for it, because now you're being launched, but you also have to hold the right direction with it, looks very tricky. So you got to time your jump with to keep the momentum and then move correctly.
Yeah.
But and then you get to chapter 2, which to me looks more interesting. I think just because there's something about the dream blocks, or whatever the sparkly blocks are called. It just
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
cool for movement up until you get Evil Madeline or Badeline, or I don't know what the canon name is. That whole sequence
Oh,
looks
Badeline.
that whole sequence
Te-
looks
technically, in, technically in story, Badeline does not have a name. It's the other part of you or something like that. But the community refers to it as Badeline because inside the game files, Madeline, she's referred to as Badeline,
oh.
and the community just picked up that name. It's pretty good.
The whole chase sequence looks hard, especially the big room where there's like
Uh,
you going
yeah,
all the way down.
that's the hardest room. But everything else is fine. Also, the it's not easy, but it's fine. Like as long as you like find the tricks to make it workable. And also the thing about Badland is that you even when you're blindfolded, you pretty much know where she is because she always follows you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about Badland is that she's a lot more annoying than she is necessarily an obstacle. Her hitbox or hurt box is actually a lot smaller than you think. So sometimes you can actually kind of slip past Badeline when it looked like you should have taken the death. Yeah, it's in general it's not too bad. Um,
And if I remember correctly, there are moments where you have to I don't know if they're called keys or buttons, or you have to like trigger
oh yeah, the coins.
the
Yeah,
coins and to unlock the door, which then has to take time to move, and then you gotta go around
ding
the door.
dong.
Yeah. No, chapter 2 I find more interesting to watch and looks fun to play, but
Mm,
I'm like I can't. To me, on the outside perspective, watching that, I'm like that looks so stressful to do blindfolded.
it's nice. I actually chapter two is my general is my favorite chapter in general. Both sighted and also blindfolded. It's my favorite chapter. I think it's nice because if you speedrun it, it's nice. If you go for a deathless, it's nice. Anything you do in it just feels nice. It's not too short, but it's definitely not too long either.
Mhm.
And a lot of the mechanics inside of it are fun. The dream blocks are very fun to play around with. And even in blindfolded, it feels good anyway. It's yeah, I like it.
And then after chapter 2 is the Celestial Resort with Mr. Oshiro. Is that his name?
Yes. Yes, the ghost.
Yeah.
The ghost that doesn't actually even know that they're a ghost.
And so you have this big map that I've played through that chapter casually twice. I'm going
Yeah.
to guess. I'm sure I could have researched this, but I'm guessing that it's a choice of what order to do the
Oh
paths
yeah,
that
yeah,
he
yeah. The
unlocks.
mess order.
Does it change depending on the? I'm guessing like less obstacles you can jump on and more dust bunnies as you go on. And so, is there a specific order that you're going for when blindfolded? Or does the order
It
I'm sorry, does the order matter to begin
yeah.
with?
Yes, especially in blindfolded. But it's mostly preference. But the important thing is like you can either go bottom or you can go middle or you can go top. And the important thing is no matter what you do not take the middle part as your final one. Because if you take the middle part as your final one, there's this one room where normally I think there are towels at the bottom, and those towels are gone.
Hmm.
And um yeah, I think they're towels. So if yeah, so the top route is probably the one that needs to be done before you go middle. Not entirely sure, but the point is that that one room becomes really difficult if you take it in the wrong order. Um, yeah,
It seems like a big chapter because now you have to talk to the ghost
it's
every
really
time.
big.
You gotta get maneuver around the the laundry or whatever is all over the place just to talk to him. So he opens up a path, then you gotta do the path to go back to him, to then go back to a path to go back to him, while dealing with the
Yes,
silent dust bunnies that just once
it's really
again.
rough. Yeah, and you gotta keep in mind like the entry cycle and the death cycle and
Mhm.
which cycle you're basically on. But
Which
yeah, like if you have practiced it, like it comes to you naturally because you're building that autopilot. But yeah,
I think that's something I haven't mentioned yet is the game looks um I'm trying to think of the right word, not punishing, the opposite of punishing, but not rewarding. Uh it's like lax, and when you die, you just respawn at the start of the room, and then each room acts as its own checkpoint, which seems
yeah.
nice, but I've noticed there are times when you've died, you spawn a little bit different than the checkpoint, and so then not only do
Oh,
you have to learn
yeah,
where
that
you are when you respawn in this room, but
yeah.
some rooms you have to learn what happens if I die, well now I'm here, or what happens if I get this far, now I'm here.
Yeah, you want to know all the different spawn points, especially in chapter 3. But usually like you can either re-enter the room or you can just learn the specific death cycle in that regard. So it's not it's yeah, it works out in the end, but you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, so the respawns can help you as long as you know the respawns well.
Yes,
Or
and there are definitely I think I'm one of the runners that at least right now with my current routing and my current strats, I'm very aggressive when it comes to respawning in rooms. Um and I there are definitely a surprising amount of rooms where I prefer the death cycle over the entry
mhm,
cycle. Um and so the moment I enter the room, I just hit the instant retry
mhm.
to lose the least amount of time, and then I take the death cycle on purpose.
From my perspective, that sounds like
Yeah,
the easier way to go about doing it.
it is in general. Also, yeah, if your goal is just to clear, be able to like actually get through the game, then going with the death cycle is usually also the better one. Except some of the death cycles are really bad, and you're better off just re-entering.
And then in chapter 3, there's a I believe it's chapter 3, that's a point where you guys actually abuse uh the respawn, so you actually start somewhere completely different in a room to skip
Uh,
a section of it.
the hard skip, you mean?
I think so.
Probably. Yeah, like you take some kind of back routing. Both me and Piper at least do it. Rainwing also, and Uh, Usually you will actually ignore the heart because taking the heart is slower,
Mm-hmm.
grabbing it. But the point is like in that specific room, when you re-enter the room again, the game does not expect you to re-enter the room, so there is no spawn point set for the re-entering of the room. And so when you respawn again, you take the death on purpose, or you hit the retry. It sets like a different it grabs a different spawn point that you're normally not supposed to use at all. So you actually can do a little skip there. Like it skips a decent amount of rooms.
Is there
It's
any
really
other
nice.
point in the game that has something like that, or is that just the only room that has that unique function for a speedrun?
So for blindfold running, not really. But in the cited speed run, so like in chapter 5, people will usually grab the cassette, go to 5B, the B side, and in the B side there is also a point where you can like jump back. You're not supposed to at all do that. It's like a 2-frame trick. I only have 2 frames, so usually people will use a pause buffer strat to make it easier, because then the 2-frame becomes way better. Then it's more like a 6 frames, which is very significant. You drop back, you respawn, and then you grab like a spawn location you were not supposed to like actually have access to. So yeah, there's one more point there that you use it at least for the any percent category. Maybe All Red Berries also has some stuff. I'm not quite sure.
And then towards the end of chapter 3, you have to do the whole chase sequence from running away from Mr. Oshiro. How difficult is that blindfolded?
Oh, running away from Oshiro. Oshiro is really annoying because when he starts dashing at you, he has a little slowdown. He's like, and then there's a little slowdown that happens. That's very annoying in Blindfolded. Other than that, Oshiro is very predictable. Even if you go like off cycle or off like the plan, if you're smart about it, you can still maybe save it. Because you always know like he's coming at me, and he's always predictable at the moment when he does it. So there's that at least. But it does add like a significant challenge to all those rooms because Oshiro is chasing you, and some of those rooms it gets really hard for sure, especially the final room. Usually that's a recurring theme. The final room of the chapter is really
Mhm.
hard.
And
Just so
then
you know.
chapter 4, Golden Ridge, is where it starts having green bubbles and moving
Are blue,
blocks.
or I don't know,
Oh,
like people were like, is it teal, is it cyan, is it oh yeah, sorry.
one of those colors, and then moving blocks that
Yes.
I'm trying to remember now. Are they the ones that react when you dash, or is it just when you touch them?
um Wait, when you touch them, wait, what are you talking about?
I know there's moving blocks in chapter 4, but I know in the
Yeah.
game at some point there are blocks that move when you dash. I think that might be chapter 6 or 7. Like every time you dash, they move too.
Oh, that's chapter 5 when you
Okay.
dash and then they like start zooming.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Okay.
Like chapter 4 has mostly clouds, wind, and snowballs. And maybe the bubbles also show up for the first time. Yeah. What was the question again about that fourth chapter?
I was just gonna ask how what's your opinion on doing it blindfolded compared to the first 3 chapters?
Okay. Well, the short answer is basically it's just a lot easier. It's a lot shorter. There's a lot less cycles to deal with. Only the ending, the final checkpoint has like wind and snowballs. That one is really annoying, but other than that, everything is like fine. Like it's a lot easier than chapter 3. That's for sure. But it's still really hard. Like so the mid game chapter 3, 4, and 5 are a lot more difficult than the early game. Like the moment you hit chapter 3, but also chapter 4, like that's when the real game actually starts and the real challenge. But in the end, chapter 4 is still significantly easier than 3. Not that much, but definitely significant.
I'm trying to, what is the last room like in chapter 4? I can't remember what that one was like.
Actually, that one's not too bad.
That's probably why I can't
Surprisingly
remember.
enough. It's the one where you have a lot of wind that is actually blowing you forward towards the exit, and then at the end you have like the cage that's supposed to go up together with Theo, and you get like the whole story sequence and stuff. But yeah, like it's yeah, the actually surprisingly enough that screen is not too bad.
And in chapter 5, I find very interesting to watch because if I remember correctly, I think that's the one with the
Theo?
the Theo and the Seekers or whatever the
Yes. They're both very bad. The Red Seekers, the Cthulhu-like enemies are horrible. They're really bad.
It's interesting though because I see that in the runs you are using them to activate the coins along with you to unlock the path, and then with Theo,
yeah.
My initial thought for Blindfolded is keep this person close to me so I know where he is, but you're just like chucking him, doing things, and then going right back to him. Like, this is crazy to watch. It's like putting on a blindfold, throwing a football, and then catching it yourself. Or I guess what did they call is it pigskin internationally? Because America football is the brown one, but internationally it would be what we call a soccer ball.
Oh, the rugby thing.
Oh, is it a rugby ball?
Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing you're throwing. I know what you mean.
It just occurred to me when I said football. I'm like, oh wait, that would mean something different.
Yeah, it depends.
But you're just like
I don't
chucking
want to go
it
into the whole football soccer thing.
Yeah, you're chucking Theo. You're doing stuff, and then you always get right back to him. I'm like, I can't imagine playing a game blindfolded, throwing something, and then just going right back to where I threw him.
I do agree. Theo, bad. But it's still like it's really, it's especially feels really good when you hear afterwards and they're like chapter 5. What was that? What was I watching? Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's actually after chapter 1 and 2. That's the first chapter I learned after. So it's my third chapter actually that I learned. No, I think the fourth chapter is technically better as the third chapter, but yeah.
So using the Seekers for your advantage, using Theo to your advantage, and just throwing Theo across each room and then picking him back up blindfolded. I was watching that, and the first time I watched it, I was like, for a minute, I forgot I was even watching someone play blindfolded.
That's pretty great.
And then
chapter 5 is just crazy. I don't know what to. Yeah.
And then chapter 6, I find interesting because instead of chapter 2 where Badeline is chasing you, you're spending most of the chapter chasing her and trying to dash into her. I haven't actually played that far casually, so I don't know. Will she try to?
Thematically, it just feels very good. It's like a resolution to the climax, you know?
Will she try to avoid you if you get too close, and so you just got to do it real fast, or will she always be in a consistent spot every time you get approaching her?
So in the Badeline fight, then, right?
Yes.
Because usually what Badeline does is either she throws a laser at you, or she's throwing balls at you. Those are actually the two things she's doing, I think. And besides just the natural obstacles inside of the room. Also, the very confusing thing, normally chaining rooms together makes sense in Celeste because every room has like its own feeling to it. But the Badeline fight, all the rooms look very samey. Even if you like speedrun it, it gets very confusing to be like what room is coming next, because they all look the same. And even in Blindfolded, it just, I remember trying to learn that and I got so confused on what room comes up next, and I'm like, is it this room? Is it this room? Wait, did I skip a room? Like yeah. Sorry. It's a very interesting fight, but if it does feel good, even in Blindfolded. Uh, the final two rooms of the battle and fight are really, really tough, and also the feathers are stupid.
Mhm.
But that's besides the point. The final two battle and rooms are really tough.
Is this like the only time in the game where you like, I guess, quote unquote, fight a boss, as in you're being the
Yes.
aggressive?
Yeah. It's the one like it's the one time where you're like, because Madeline has always been running away from whatever is happening in yeah, like she's always basically running away. I don't want to spoil too much of the story. But at chapter 6, like this is more like a teaser, but in chapter 6, it's like thematically it's different because you're actually confronting the thing that you've like basically been fighting against the
Mhm.
whole time. So it feels really good. And also the developers made that fight just feel really, really satisfying. Seriously. Like it's really good.
And then the final chapter for any percent, chapter 7, is like everything all together except harder because they now leveled you up and now you can do 2 dashes without
Yeah.
touching.
Level
So
up.
2 dashes sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cool, this will be easier. And then like, no, let's just make the gaps bigger and these
Mm-hmm.
paths more complicated because now you got to double dash. And
Well, it depends. I do think that in general, um, so in speedrunning, the when you start, it's really tough. Like the first checkpoint is actually like when inside speed, pardon, inside speedrunning, the first checkpoint is really tough. But I think in Blindfolded, it's like a reprieve from chapter 6. Like until you get to the again Dust Bunny part
mm-hmm.
in chapter 7, all of those rooms in general feel really nice to just play. Um, so it's not too bad. Like basically the developers really put thought into it to be like you get the level up, so you get to feel good, and yeah, like it definitely feels very good to just play Madeline when she gets her second dash,
And then you're
even in Blindfolded.
playing through uh references to the first 6 chapters to then get to the final part of chapter 7, which are
Yeah, the
the
remix.
30 flags. And
Mm.
it is visually, just watching that whole final chapter, it does feel like everything that I've watched
Oh,
a speedrunner do up to this point is now being tested to their limits on this final
yes.
chapter. And then the
Yeah,
30
it's the
checkpoint part,
climax.
a lot of feathers, a lot of stuff just at the end.
It has
make
everything. It's crazy.
it makes
And
up almost.
the annoying part is that those final 30 flags that you need to climb are really, really hard. Yeah.
And then I think I'm trying to remember, there's rain coming down during that chapter too, right?
Oh, I guess it looks like rain. The
Oh,
thing is like it has a it's the wind
oh.
actually.
Uh,
The I guess it does kind of look like rain. First, you have the downwind part where you get pushed down. That's really annoying to deal with in Blindfolded. Then you have the upwind part where you get blown up. Not like
yeah.
but upwards. And then finally actually the wind stops and you get more like a no draft situation. Yeah, regardless, like and especially when you get to like flag 17 and then like the next no every like almost all of the flags afterwards are bad. uh
And then the chapter itself is like a third of the total time of each of your runs, it feels like.
yes, like so basically after you exit chapter 5, that's the halfway point of the any percent category pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And so despite chapter 6 and 7 being the final two chapters, you're like, hey, yay, we just finished 5 chapters. No, the final 2 chapters are just as big as the other 5, but if you're also doing it blindfolded, it gets really hard. Good luck, have fun. Yeah, it's really tough.
I'm trying to think. I think in chapter 3, there's a moment where because Madeline's hitbox is smaller when she's crouching, there's a point where you like go through the red black things. I think it's called like a demo dash.
Oh yeah.
Uh, would that be considered a glitch, or is that just a move tech to get through the room better?
I think you can kind of consider it a glitch. Like Celeste does have glitches, but most of those glitches are very, very minor. There's only one glitch in the game that I consider like a major glitch because of the amount of impact that it has. But most of the glitches in the game are relatively minor in terms of time save. They're not really big things that allow you to like really break open the game, like in a Zelda game where
Mm-hmm.
you suddenly are in like a completely different part of the game and like you skip like a major thing. Like in Celeste, the biggest time saves you can do are like 30 seconds or like technically no wait, 2.5, no, there's no way, or is it 1.5 minutes, maybe the search skip. Like most of the time save you get through like glitches are not that big. Everything is movement when it comes to Celeste. mm, like the major glitch in Celeste is like a weird like there's actually a thing in the DLC chapter where you can talk to a character, and then you do 1 frame of talk, 1 frame of jump, and then you skip the cutscene, and then you just float upwards. And it and then the thing is, if you skip the cutscene at the correct time, you can then you can also do a dash trigger skip. Normally you're supposed to lose your 2 dashes at that point, and then you can keep your 2 dashes for like 2/3 of the chapter. That's the only major glitch in Celeste. There's it's a funny game in that regard where it doesn't really have any big glitches whatsoever.
I think there's a lot of people out there who prefer watching games played without any glitches, so I think that just probably adds to the appeal of watching Celeste blindfolded. Not only are you
And also playing it.
watching fast paced 2D platformers being played and then being played blindfolded, but then they're not using glitches really to exploit to save time. So then you, as the player who played casually and did all those levels, can see the speedrunner do all those same levels as well. Versus you, the player, do all of these, and then like you said, Zelda, hey, he did a dungeon and now he's at the end. What about the other eight dungeons that's in this game?
Yeah, no, true. But that's also the beauty of why there are many different categories when it comes to speed games. So you can pick the one you prefer more. But yeah, I also think it's interesting because if you look, for example, at Pokemon games, what are the most um ran categories when it comes to Pokemon games? And they're the glitchless
Mm-hmm.
categories, pretty much in most cases. It's interesting. Or like, do you know Superliminal?
That sounds familiar.
It's 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 a wacky game where you basically get stuck inside of a dream. And I haven't really played the game, but I have watched like speedruns of it because friends of mine like Ponko, Marky, Fertile have been speedrunning it. And again, what is the most popular category to speedrun? The glitchless
Mm-hmm.
category. It is very amusing to see that. That demo dash skip, by the way, is a very specific skip where you just squeeze the Madeline's hurt box to like 4 pixels, I think, and then she just manages to squeeze through that tiny gap. Um, I think you can consider that kind of like a glitch.
Uh,
But it depends on like how you define a glitch,
yeah.
pretty much.
For Celeste Blindfolded, of everything we've talked about and maybe something we haven't talked about, what would you say is probably a tip or something that you think that a new runner should probably know when starting off Celeste Blindfolded?
For Celeste Blindfolded, I think the best thing you can do if you want to give it a try is really just give it a try. Don't think too much about it. Don't worry too much about it, because the thing, even when it comes to like speed running it, I feel like most people just make things too big inside of their heads, and I'm one of the first people that does it, for sure. And the easiest way to deal with that is just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much about it. Just do it. Like there's a reason why just do it is that one meme. Like it's not something you can really explain to a person because it's so dumb. You don't just do it. But at the same time, just doing it is a thing to just do. So I think when it comes to Celeste Blindfolded, if you really want to like give it a shot, yeah, just give it a shot, really, and try to have fun. The one thing that is the most fun when it comes to Celeste Blindfolded, and I think Blindfolded in general is just labbing out your own strategies, because Blindfolded basically creates it. It makes it like a big puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, even when I'm running it blindfolded, I'm still puzzling because you're playing with incomplete information, and on the fly you have to figure out, did I do the thing that I was supposed to do?
And
Yeah. So even during the run, I'm actively puzzling.
I'd imagine that many, if not most of the rooms, there's probably more than one way to get through it, either by a slower but safer route or using one of those hyper jumps or super jumps just to make things easier. It seems like there's multiple ways you can take a lot of the rooms.
Yes.
So I think that should
Um,
help with anyone getting into it. If you see, say, you or Piper just zooming by and you try to blindfold and it's not working, maybe do a slower strategy, and then as you get more familiar with the game, see if you can incorporate those slightly harder but faster movements.
one more tip. One more tip. If you're gonna learn Celeste blindfolded, please be careful if you're trying to emulate the world records, because most of the stuff that Piper does is even too hard for me. So and the same goes for like even if you're like learning the Celeste speedrun cited, don't try to copy the world record. It's too hard. You have to build your way up to get to that point. And that's the other thing. Like it's very tempting to like be like, I want to get the world record. The Celeste blindfolded world record is just really really freaking stupid good. So it's really hard to take it. So in the end, the most important thing is just the battle within yourself. Just just go for your personal best, not try to compare too much to other people. Yeah.
Is there anything else of Celeste that you think that we haven't covered that you would like to go over real quick of Celeste Blindfolded?
Not quite sure. In Celeste Blindfolded, I think it's just I think I've already said it, but Celeste Blindfolded in general, it lends itself very well for blindfolded, and at the same time, because it's such a difficult game, like there's no cheating. You can't really cheat your way through the game. You can make ways to like make it easier for yourself. There's a lot of tiny things you can do to increase your chances of making it through a room or making your strat easier. But it's Celeste is like it's really hard to actually cheat. Normally, when you speedrun a game, like a big Zelda game or something, there's like a glitch or a skip you can do. Celeste doesn't really
Mhm.
have that. Like the thing I said earlier, there are no really big major glitches you can do. I think that's what makes it fun. It's also what makes it horrible.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. It's a blessing and it's a curse. Yeah.
Alrighty. I think with that we probably covered everything that needed to be covered. As stated at the start, and I'm going to do it again at the end. I'm going to make sure from here on out I do it with everyone. Give Malakbel a shout out. Follow him on YouTube, Twitch, and you said a third site.
Oh, Blue Sky. Blue Sky is like the equivalent or the replacement of Twitter.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
gonna call it X.
No, I still don't call it that. And
Good.
then as we've also mentioned, I would like to give a shout out to the other speedrunners we've mentioned. Go to blindfoldedgaming.com. The online leaderboards for blindfolded speedruns. You can find tons of runners on there. And tons of games done blindfolded. The games that I was shocked to see even listed. Most of the time it's the speed runs, but sometimes it looks like it's just boss battles or just other niche categories
True.
for fun. But I think it's still cool to see what everyone has been able to do blindfolded with. I think over 300 runners now on the website.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
but for those who
Oh,
watch, oh, yep.
more like something that jumped through my head. When it comes to blindfolded, there's a lot of preparation that is involved. And so if you want to make blindfolded more approachable to yourself, small steps. And like for example, there are speedrunners that run for like marathon runs and they'll do like a blindfolded thing. Usually that's like a donation
Hmm.
incentive because the donation incentive is like it's more encapsulated, it's more small, it's something approachable, it's a smaller project you can pick up. When it comes to blindfolded, don't think too big. I did something stupid. I went for the whole Celeste game from the start. I mean, that's kind of like a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it's so big.
Hmm.
Try to think small
That's how I felt with
if you want to approach blindfolded. Yeah.
my first blindfolded game was Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, why did I start with a big RPG game, dude?
Oh man.
But then
Yeah, exactly.
when I went to Nintendo World Championship, I'm like, this is far more manageable. So I do agree
Yeah.
with unless you really like the game or you only have interest in that one game, maybe start smaller for a blindfolded thing and then go for the bigger stuff.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say you do make Nintendo World Championship look good.
Oh, that's
Seriously.
good.
Just wanted to put it out there.
That had a lot of practice. It's I would say both easy and a hard game as well. Some levels are just dummy easy. You just do one thing and you're done. But those other levels, and those are the ones that I had to practice, like certain boss fights or something. I'm like, I just want it to look. My goal is to make it look easy, because then it's fast. If it doesn't look
I think
easy,
you've succeeded.
and I still plan on doing a
Seriously.
100 level one at some point. Just with the mishap I had last week. I think it's last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, with my phone issues, as well as another issue that came up that I didn't post on YouTube. It's just put me behind, but I do intend to finish that game off by doing a 100 level run at some point, which will show off some of the
Mm,
longer and more difficult levels. But
that would
yeah,
be really cool.
I do agree. Maybe finding a smaller game is doable, but not necessarily necessary. Something like Celeste, where there's hundreds of rooms and a relatively difficult 2D platformer, or a big RPG like Kingdom Hearts probably is not the best start for a blindfolded career, but it's definitely manageable.
You gotta start somewhere, to be fair. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to just go big or go
Mm-hmm.
home or something, or go home. Because the thing is like if you are capable of doing that, then that's also not a bad thing
Mm-hmm.
because you gotta start somewhere. And being stubborn and being determined about something also definitely should not be underestimated.
Oh, absolutely. But
That's how I did it.
yeah, that's how I almost did it with Kingdom Hearts before I got distracted by another game and then real life happened. But I do intend to finish routing and learning that game at some point.
Mm.
Hopefully immediately after NWC is done and maybe Celeste, because I do want to try at least the first two chapters, Blindfolded or Celeste. I don't know if I'll do any more after that, but the first two looks fun, and I just want to at least try the game Blindfolded.
Those are fun. Like those are fun. Everything else, maybe chapter 4,
Chapter
maybe
three,
5.
chapter three does not look fun at all.
Chapter 1 and 2 are nice, and the Pico
Mm.
8 is also, I think, nice because it's only 30 screens.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it actually kind of very approachable. The Pico 8 Easter egg game.
But
It's pretty good.
I think I'll get it over here. And as I said before starting, I didn't know if this would come close to a 2 hour recording like the Runner Guy video, but here we are, almost 2 hours in.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Runner Guy, by the
Mm-hmm.
way,
Yeah, he was
because
he's what got me
yeah.
started, and I believe got Bubsy started, and
Mm.
definitely
I think it's cool. I don't know much about Runner Guy, to be honest, but I do know he's one of the OGs, so that's always nice.
and was willing to help someone in a forum who's was born blind wanting to do Ocarina of Time, and that's what got Runner Guide started was hey, let me do this and I'll send you instructions or talk over Skype. And then Runner's Guy's like,
Mm.
here, I have all the steps now. Maybe I can beat Ocarina of Time blindfolded. And I think it's cool that it went from a top speedrunner to helping someone who asked for help who was born blind to now probably in a way helped a community start playing games blindfolded.
That is sick. What? Okay. Nice.
Yeah, he explained all that backstory in the video I did with him and in his GDQ run back in 2015 when he did the child dungeons of Ocarina of Time blindfolded, which I think Bubsy has said that that's what got him started and definitely got me to try Kingdom Hearts blindfolded because everyone in the Kingdom Hearts community,
Mm.
or not everyone, but a lot of members of the KH community wanted to see what they could do blindfolded without
Yeah.
routing, and it went as good as you would expect without routing. So then I try to take
Uh,
the challenge to route it, only to be like, I don't know. This is a lot of work. I'll just wait till someone else does it. And then Bubsy did it. I'm like, dang it. Now I have to come back to this game.
yeah. Oh wow, that's cool though.
But for those who watched this video, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to continue making more behind the mask videos. And good luck to anyone that needs it.